Welcome back, everybody. All right, so in this video, we are going to take care of a little bit of housekeeping in a way and also get the UVs set up for this. So for the UVs, I'm not too worried about making everything super accurate because I'm going to be using Substance Painter and I can do a lot of seam blending in there. So what I want to do is I first want to create the UVs for just the ammo crate itself. Remember, we already went and created the UVs for the ropes themselves, so we don't need to go ahead and do the UVs again for those guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down a blast node over here, and I'm going to select ropes for the group to blast, and that will leave me with just the ammo crate. So I want to create the counterpart to this particular node and say delete non-selected, so we do keep the ropes, and that's just because those already have UVs. All right. And this particular portion doesn't. So what I want to do is I want to actually go and use the game dev. So if I start typing in game dev here, I want to do the game dev auto UV. So you will need to install the game development tools for this shelf up here. It'll install all the particular HDAs that are created for us by Side Effects software. All right, and I'm just going to hook this guy up right here. It'll take a little bit to think about, especially, it really depends on the density of the mesh. All right, but it's going to go through and try to lay this out as best as possible. So if I turn that on now, you can see that we have some pretty good islands here. And we can further refine all this and put the small island cutoff to something like 0.1, and we wait for it to calculate again to show us the results. So I don't want really small islands, you know, I want these really nice solid large islands there. So that's looking pretty good so far. Let's put it down to something like 0.05. It's a little intense. Cool. So that looks pretty good. And everything else, I'm just going to leave like this. So that's pretty good. And now what I need to do is I need to combine these two UV sets together. All right, so I have the UVs for the ammo crate, and then I have the UVs for the rope there. So what I want to do is create a merge, like so, and then drop down a UV layout. There we go. And you'll notice that we now have a nice layout. And what I want to do is come down here and turn on the correct area proportions. That'll make sure everything is, the textile density over this whole particular model is correct. And then I also want to change the amount of orientation. So I'm going to put this down to 1 just to show you guys. So if I change the amount of orientations to 1, everything will be pointing in the same direction. In this case, because I do have some vertical elements and some horizontal elements, I'll leave it at 2. Perfect. And I'm going to change the padding to 2 as well and apply padding to the tile boundaries. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to call that good for now. You can go in and actually UV the individual elements themselves. So let's go and see how that works. Let's go see what piece this is here. Let's find a better one. So let's go up to one of the sides up here. I just want to show you guys how this works. All right, so if you wanted to UV just this one piece, all right, and then have it all set up for you, I prefer to use the UV flatten node, like so. Okay, and with this, what we need to do is we need to set up some seams for this. Okay, so I want to get the flattening constraints, and I hit this little arrow right here, and that'll put me into this seam selection mode. All right, so then I would just go through and actually hand select all the seams here using the pointer here, and also I'm holding down Shift and A and then middle mouse clicking to select the loop, like so. Works out pretty good. So then you can also get rid of certain edges that you don't want. So what I'm doing is defining the seam, just like in any other software package or 3D software package where you're hand laying out UVs. Now, there are many ways to go about creating the UVs procedurally, but since the release of the auto UV node for the game dev toolset, I use that pretty much most of the time, and then I just go and texture it inside of Substance Painter, and for the most part it works pretty well. Alright, so you can see here I do have a seam somewhere. If we were to drop down a UV layout, oh no, I did a pretty good job. So then you'd have to go through the process of creating, so if I select the UV flatten node here and then hit enter over here, what I can do is pin certain edges here. So I would come up here and just pin these guys, hit enter, and then I can move that around, enter. Now you can start to flatten these guys out a little bit. You know, they have some really nice algorithms for this stuff. You can really start to produce some nice UV layouts that, or it's like semi-procedural. How about that? Right, there we go. And one more. If you need them totally straight, right? Don't necessarily worry about it too much these days. I definitely try to just eliminate stretching, but I do keep the mesh. There we go. Oh, it's not liking. Oh, it's probably because I'm selecting another one here. Nope, it sure doesn't like that one. So there we go. There's our UV layout. Then you can go and edit the actual UV. So that's how you would do it in a more manual approach. And then basically at the end, combine it all together, and you'd have your UVs. But in my case, because I am using Substance Painter to do the texturing, this will work out pretty good. Leave it all up to the procedural texturing package. All right, so that is basically what I wanted to show. So we have all our UVs all laid out now, so we can go and check the quick shade here. And things are looking pretty good. All the texel densities, a nice size. Yeah. You can always go back and change some of these. So maybe we'll bring our island cutoff down. Remove some of the stretching over here. So I'll let you guys play around with the settings. Yeah, that did an okay job. Let's go back and set this to 0.01 like we had it by default. Anyways, I'll let you guys go and play with settings with your particular prop that you're making. But that is basically how this all works, or at least how I have begun to approach modeling and texturing props and stuff like that. All right, thanks so much.